Hello, everyone. It's Religious Fanboy here again. And today we are starting a new video series where I do monthly text analysis, where we go through a book of the Bible for a series of months, and I elaborate on highlights that I found from doing research of passages. And for starting in February this month and un, until I think June or July, the book of James. Um, so we're starting off with James chapter 1, which I will start reading now. Um, as always, this is reading out of the ESV, the English Standard Version. This is in the podcast format because this is going to be a longer video, and I wanted this to be available as being audio only in case you wanted to use this for just some background noise. So I hope you have fun. I'm excited. So I'm gonna get started now. On James, a servant of God and brother of Lord Jesus Christ, the tribes. Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna go back to this. I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm gonna start again. James, the servant of God and the Lord and brother of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes in the dispersion. Greetings. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously without reproach, and it will be given him. But let him ask in faith, with no doubting, for the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. Let the lowly brother boast in the exaltation, and the rich in his humiliation, because like a flower of the grass he will pass away, for the sun rises with its scorching heat and withers the grass. Its flower falls, and its beauty perishes. So also will the rich man fade away in the midst of his pursuits. Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he is stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him. Let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted with evil himself, and he tempts no one. But each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. Then desire, when it conceived, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. Do not be deceived, my beloved brothers. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation of shadow due to change. Of his own will be brought us forth by the word of truth, that we shall be a kind of first fruits of his creatures, knowing his beloved brothers. Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, for the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Therefore put away all filthiness and rampant wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your souls. But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks intently at his natural face in a mirror. For he looks at himself and goes away, and at once forgets what he was like. But the one who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and preserves, being no hearer who forgets, but a doer who acts, he will be blessed in his doing. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. A religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit the orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. First thing, we get the information at the start of the book of James, like in the other books in the letters in the New Testament that are thought to be written by Paul. This book is thought to be written by James, the half-brother of Jesus. And James was born of Mary and Joseph following the birth of Jesus Christ. They weren't born at the same time, but that was the first natural conception of fully human conception of a child through Mary. And the line of Jesus, and in one of the commentaries, it uses the term describing James as an apostle of the circumcision. This is this could be interpreted as saying that he was of Jewish descent and from the house came from the children of Israel. Circumcision was viewed as a way of identifying Jews, and even in this commentary, Christians of Jewish descent. And that was in the commentary titled "A Commentary Critical and Explanatory on the Whole Bible." All these sources I am getting from the software that I use for the scriptural research of all of the videos that I've done since the summer. And then so now we're gonna move to the first of two sections. The section about tests. This passage is within verses 2 through 18. This is from the World Studies in the New Testament by Marvin R. Vincent. He talks about and interprets the not being double-minded when talking about joyfulness, and puts an emphasis on there being a need to be joyful with an absence of sorrow. And this can be pulled from the end of this section where it talks about not being double-minded, and us needing to ask God for help with faithfulness and with having the hope and expectation of our requests and needs being met. And then the next section I have is the best. I know my Hebrew significantly more, but it starts with the word counted and do it. Saying continue to do it and going along with the this one is by Robert A.T. Robertson in the Word Pictures in the New Testament. And this also continues to add to Marvin Vincent's interpretation, where it talks about having he uses the phrase an holy joy and unmixed joy. So also he uses the word grief here, but it is a similar idea. And then there is the next section goes along with the ideas of going through temptations. This is also by A.T. Robertson, where it says, I'm going to quote it, when he is drawn away by his own lust. This interpretation uses the word lust. And lust and desire have been used interchangeably throughout different translations and interpretations of this text. In verse 14, and the main gist of this concept is understanding that it is not God directly to blame for our temptations. We do believe as Christians that He can use all things can turn all, can create good out of any situation. And like how when working out, the muscles are being torn and are healed back, and that process makes them stronger. This is what happens to us spiritually when we are able to call upon God's help and overcome our temptations. And this could be interpreted as having to do with the concept of original sin, but also could be interpreted as our own desires being an effect of not going along with the idea of total depravity, but going along with the idea more of us being more susceptible and capable of being tempted into sinful actions and falling victim to those slippery slopes that because of God being perfect, He is incapable of doing Himself and incapable of creating those temptations for us. And then that is from A.T. Robertson in the Word Pictures in the New Testament, from the and then the next thing is talking about a man of two minds, which we had implied to in earlier on. This being like the idea of having to overcome, like in this context, having to overcome our desires in order to overcoming our human desires in order to listen to the desires and callings of the Spirit. And that's from this most recent part from the this also brings up the word aner, and how this has been usually, like, it translates to male, but has been also used synonymously for using both man or individual, and has been used to refer to man and woman, and also used to just mean anyone as well. And that's from W. Harris, the NET Bible Notes. And then we have one last section, and that is from I've titled it Doing versus Hearing, and this covers verses 19 through 27. This first section is from the Peter H. David, James, and D.A. Carson of the New Bible Commentary, 21st Century Edition. And this talks about, this puts an emphasis on the humility of being fully immersed and fully open to what God and the Bible teaches in order to fully understand the perfect law and to practice it, in order to truly be like God, rather than just taking the teaching, like not even taking the teachings, but letting them just roll off your back and not allowing them to affect you. And they put a heavy emphasis on the importance of the humility that is required into that. And it also alludes to the anger again, and this could be viewed as a contradiction to the verse that says, "Be angry, but do not sin." But this could be interpreted to be, do not go, like, acknowledging anger as a slippery slope that can lead to sin if done in a sinful and harmful way. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys later. May God be with you, and I will see you next time. Bye.